On January 30th, 1987, my life changed forever. That is the day that Janelle and I started dating. We got married on December 29th, 1990. Those 2 days are what I would consider life-changing events. I have had several more life-changing events that I'd like to talk about. In May of 1991, I started my career as a police officer with the Topeka Police Department. In July of 1995, I found out that Janelle was pregnant. I had been away for 1 week at Fort Riley working on a camp for grade school kids. While at that camp, I had gotten my hair cut so short that I knew Janelle was going to get mad at me. I called her to tell her I had got my hair cut like I was going to do, but that it was really short. I was bewildered when Janelle did not get upset with me. When I got home, I found out that Janelle was pregnant. I was so happy. Sometime after I found out from Janelle that she was pregnant, our phone rang, and it was a co-worker of mine, Ron Holler. Ron and his wife Tammy had been trying for some time to get pregnant with the assistance of fancy doctors. They were not successful. Ron called me to tell me something and then said, "Oh, by the way, I'm supposed to tell you Tammy is pregnant." I couldn't believe it. They got pregnant without the aid of the doctors. I then told Ron that we also were pregnant. In the weeks that followed, we learned that both Tammy and Janelle were due on April 1st, 1996. In the early morning hours of March 24th, 1996, we got a call from Ron. Ron told us that they were at the hospital and Melissa Holler had been born. I remember Janelle getting up early and walking around the neighborhood. We decided to go ahead and pack our clothes and go to the hospital to visit Ron and Tammy and Melissa, just in case Janelle went into labor. While at the hospital, I was watching KU suffer an agonizing game to Syracuse in the NCAA basketball tournament. That was the start of bad luck with Alexa being in hospitals and KU playing the same time. At 10:28 p.m. that night, Alexa Marie Feyh was born. Although Alexa and Melissa have gone to different schools, they have remained friends and participated in many activities together. When the new millennium was approaching, I found out again that Janelle was pregnant. Janelle's due date was right around the first of the year and the first of the new millennium. It was not planned that way, it just happened that way. However, in June of 1999, while playing golf, I got a page from Janelle. She told me she had a miscarriage. I really didn't know how to feel. I was deeply saddened and felt so much pain for Janelle and what she had gone through. It was extremely difficult to figure out how to tell 3-year-old Alexa what had happened. We made it through that tough time. I found out later in 2000 that Janelle was pregnant again and due in January of 2001. On January 25th, 2001, Daegen James Feyh was born. Once again, we were at the hospital with some friends whose son was born on January 24th. I was kind of pushing Janelle to get her to have Daegen before midnight so we would once again have some friends who our children could celebrate birthdays, and they would also be on the 24th like mine. However, Daegen came out shortly after midnight. With the exception of a few sicknesses in our family, life was pretty much smooth sailing for a while. Janelle suffered some non-epileptic seizures during June of 2002. The doctors informed us that that probably was due to stress, and I would like to point out that that was not stress from me, but from her job. Thanks to some friends of ours, Mario and Jenny Guerrero, we were able to take advantage of an excellent deal on a trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida, the end of July of 2003. About 3 weeks before the trip was to begin, Daegen started to get sick. He stopped walking one day. We went to the emergency room and nothing was found. The next day we went to the pediatrician and he was diagnosed with toxic synovitis of the hip. It sounded like a good diagnosis to us. We were told that he had some kind of inflammation of the hip, either from a cold settling there or a fall or injury to the hip. Things went well until he developed this fever. We went to the hospital and he was admitted. All the blood work that was done at that time came back okay. Eventually, the pneumonia that had developed had gone away, as did the fever and the pain. Daegen was released from the hospital and had a 1-week recovery and was doing well, so we went ahead with our planned vacation to Walt Disney World. At this time, Janelle was quitting her job as the executive director of Doorstep and was going to be starting a new job as a school psychologist with Wamego School District. So at this point she was in between jobs.